actually heard some of them say that selfishness is a virtue. It's good to be selfish, to look out only for yourself. There was one state representative from Derry who, and I'm not making this up, I wish I was, but he went after the then Bishop of Manchester, not the current one, but Bishop McCormick, and said that the Catholic Church is a tool of the devil because the bishop spoke out in defense of funding for mental health care and child health services. That's lunacy. When you've got people out there in public office saying things like that. And like I said earlier, we need to put the grown-ups back in charge. We need people who are able to build coalitions, who are able to have a thoughtful discussion with people who might not agree with them on everything, but who are ready to find some common ground and find some solutions. When I was in the House, I developed a reputation as someone who wouldn't always vote the party line. No, I'm a strong Democrat, always have been, but there were some areas where I had differences with the House leadership. Some education issues I did, especially charter schools. But we need people who are who are willing to be independent-minded, to study the issues, to build bridges to people who might not agree with them on every issue, and look down the road. Stop looking at the next election. Stop looking at what some pundit on the internet is saying, and look at what's in the best interest of your community and your constituents in the long term. They're not doing that up there right now. One person isn't going to change it overnight, but it's that first step in changing the climate up there.
This is where I wish that the third candidate would have been here, because he's a registered Republican, and we could have gotten his views. But like I said, he did not respond to our contact, and I'm hoping that between now and election day that he does, so we can. I really wanted him here, but that's not the case. You are both Democrats, right?
Yep.
Yeah, running as Democrats. You're probably both aware that there are more undeclared registrations in New Hampshire than there are Democrats and Republicans.
Right.
And the same goes here in Manchester, and in Ward 3 it's approaching that.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, but it's approaching that. So would you take the independent vote unlikely and just leave them behind, or are they just as important to you as the Democrats and the Republican voters?
Oh, it doesn't matter what party you belong to. I want to listen to you. I want to hear your ideas. If I disagree with you, I'm going to tell you. But like I said, I have very good friends from the legislature who are Republicans, who are staunchly conservative on most issues, but whose opinions are respected. Same goes for independents. I have a lot of friends that are independents, or undeclared is the technical term. But we need people who are willing to look beyond partisanship. Kind of goes back to what I was saying a moment ago. Do I believe in the fundamental values of the Democratic Party? Yes, I do. I believe in a government that is proactive, that serves as a catalyst for helping people improve their own lives. I'm proud to be a member of the party of Harry Truman and John F. Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy, Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. But I'm not going to allow a party label to stop me from supporting a good idea. So if someone who's an independent or a Republican or a Libertarian has a good idea, I want to hear it. And if I agree with them, I'll work with you to make sure it's put into place and put into action.
And Mary?
Things again, you know me better. I always be friendly for everybody. I'm friendly for everybody. You can be Republican, Democrat, they are my friend. Always be with everybody because that is me. I believe for what we're doing is good. I believe for what is right. I believe for the good things we can do, how we can do to save, because I care, I love, It's not because what I can do, because they say that that is not the way I am. I can be Democrat. It doesn't matter for me. I can be anyone because God wanted me to be who I am. And God chose me to work with people, to love everybody. I accept everyone. And anyway, you know better. there is a lot of people.
I
know.
asked that question because there are state legislatures on both the House and the Senate that win an election for their party, and they claim once they campaign that if they win, they represent all of the people. But when they're in office,
Mhm.
they're a staunch Democrat or a staunch Republican.
Yeah.
And then there's a large group that's left behind. I asked the question because now that we know that there are more undeclared people registered to vote, it is important to the people who vote for the men and women in the legislatures that they understand that if they win, that they need to represent all of the people.
People.
That's exactly
That's
it.
right.
That's exactly it. And that's what's lacking up there right now. It's so partisan, so angry. That good ideas are being thrown overboard because, not just because it's a Democratic idea, it might be an idea offered by a Republican that doesn't necessarily toe the party line on every issue. You have to stop that. You have to grow up and listen to everybody's opinion and everybody's ideas.
I can say this is like a Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin just show people he was a Republican. She hated everybody. She hated because that is not the way, because I think so. The way she was acting, even more Republican, they didn't like her because she sure because she lose the election. Now she tried to start with the Tea Party movement and to against everybody, to against Democrat, to against Black, to against. That is not the way people need to live. If you want to be a political person, you don't elect you. Even if they elect you because you are Democrat, but you are for everybody. That's why.
Excellent. Let's go to another question. We've been seeing a lot of debates lately on the presidential range. Now, in New Hampshire, no matter if it's a presidential election, a gubernatorial election, or state house or rep, or a senatorial, or if it's a local election, we take elections seriously in New Hampshire.
Mhm.
That's why we have the biggest house of representatives and senate in this country, almost in the globe. I think we're third or fourth biggest legislature.
Yeah, third or fourth. Yeah.
Yes. So we take things seriously in representing the people, the common folk. Every single one is represented. So I ask you this question. There was a candidate who came out running for president, and at one of the debates a couple months ago, and the question came from a veteran who was in Iraq. They had Obama, our president had just signed the no more don't ask, don't tell deal. That's gone. And he asked the question, does that mean that if you become president, that you'll be okay with that? And that candidate just floored me. We're talking to a guy here who's calling from Iraq, who's an American citizen, who's fighting for our freedom. And his answer was that there's no room for gays in the military. And just this past few weeks, we had another candidate running for president who came out with a commercial in Iowa and said, can you imagine, we allow gays in the military, but we can't even go home and call our holiday Christmas. Where does that come from? That sounds like hate mongrel. These military men, no matter if they're gay, straight, or whatever, they're there for one reason, for our freedom. And remember, they're not told to go to the military. Today, it's you join the military. It's not mandatory no more. So they join the military for one reason, because they believe in the American government. What do you think of that kind of hate monger? Do you think it's good for our country, Mary?
I can tell you, first of all, they say this is a freedom country, okay? He said there is a freedom in this country. The government, they want to give a freedom for everyone to do what he wants, to be the way he is. I don't think so. Why are they going to stand to against them again? Because when they say there is a no, they cannot teach at school, they cannot read the Bible at school. You cannot do something like a religious Christian at school. Because they give it the freedom. when they give a freedom in the country, they say you can do what you want. Why are they going to start again against them? I don't believe it because it's the freedom they give the people. Sometimes we have a kids home. You cannot spank your kids. You cannot do this because this is a law. They say it's a freedom. Where I came from, sometimes maybe you cannot do it. They don't like it. But here is the government who give it freedom. Is the government said to do this. They don't have a right to tell them they cannot do this, they cannot do that. Because they already choose their life.
Peter?
Like I said at the beginning of the evening, I said that for 10 years I served as a member of the Army National Guard. One thing I never cared about was where somebody spent their off-duty hours and who they spent them with. As long as somebody in my platoon did their job, maintained their vehicles properly, or they got chow out to the troops on time. I was a support platoon leader and a battery executive officer for several years. As long as people were doing their job, I was fine with them. I didn't care what they did in their private lives. That was none of my business. And if they were squared away, got their work done on time, did it in a motivated manner, hey, no problem here. And so I was actually very happy to see President Obama get rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That was something that it was counterproductive. We lost good troops, good sailors, good Coast Guardsmen, Coast Guardswomen, good airmen, simply because of what they chose to do in their private life. There's no need for that. We lost linguists in specialty areas, shortage areas, Arabic, Farsi, languages that are spoken in the hotspots around the world because of their sexuality. What does that have to do with their ability to communicate in the language of the Iranians or of the Jordanians? It doesn't make any sense to me. On the state level, one of the things whoever is elected is going to have to vote on is New Hampshire's marriage equality law. Here in New Hampshire, we were one of the few states to actually voluntarily step up and grant gays and lesbians the right to get married. Now, I'll be honest, there was a time when that notion made me squeamish. I'm kind of a traditional guy, but it took a process of learning, of growing, of talking to people, and learning to see things from a different perspective. And I realized that how could I look at Jim Splain, my mentor as a state representative when I was in before, who's gay? How could I look him in the eye and say that I would deny him the same rights and privileges, the same joys that I experience being married to a woman I love? How could I deny him that same experience? How could I deny the gays and lesbians I know in my own life that experience? I couldn't. It's not right. If someone has a partner who's sick, they're dying in the hospital, their partner should be able to be there with them. They should be able to leave their estate to whoever they want without having to worry about the courts playing games with it. It's just a matter of fundamental fairness. And I will say this, and I'll set this as a challenge to the other two candidates that are running. If a vote to repeal New Hampshire's marriage equality law comes before the House, and I think it will, I pledge to vote against any attempt to weaken or to repeal that law. And I hope Mary will join me in that pledge, and I hope Mr. Savion will join me in that pledge.
Mary, will you join him in that pledge?
That is it. Everyone have his own choice to do what he wants, That is, I can say myself. I always say that life is your choice, okay? I think so. They asking me like a question for abortion. I say life is your choice. I would never stand for somebody because of what you're doing. It's your choice. If you wanna just do what you want for your life, it's you. But don't make it like somebody supposed to support you. I choose who I am. I'm gonna be who I am. You choose who you are. You choose who I am. Why they always put those things like for somebody? That's why. I can pledge something what I feel like I can pledge it. If I don't want to pledge, I'm not gonna do it.
Well, that's how some people weaken society. Instead of focusing on the issues,
Yeah.
They go on issues that are really not important. If we're going to provide freedoms, we're supposed to provide it to everybody. And what somebody does in their bedroom or what they do with their own money, their own property, you guys who went to war didn't go to war just to give it to one society, to all of our society. That's why I bring that up.
Glenn, can I follow up? I'm not sure I understand where Mayor's coming from. Will you vote against any attempt to repeal the gay marriage law?
Why you ask a real question? I told you already, life is your choice. That always be my show. Life is your choice. You see that? Everyone has his own choice. I can be who I am, like I said. Even the government, even everyone, we need to focus for the things what is important. We need to focus on how we can just raise those kids. How we can give a better education for the kids, because there is today a lot of kids here in New Hampshire is in a drug. New Hampshire become the fifth on top for drug addiction. That is the things we need to focus more. Why are we going to focus more for the people who want to just be the way they want to? You're not going to change somebody's mind.
Well, I'm just going to say that we don't always have a choice in the issues that come before us as members of the legislature. That's one thing I learned up there. You know, there were votes where I was very uncomfortable with voting either way. There was only one time I couldn't bring myself to vote either way and had to just leave the room, and it was because of some very loaded language in an amendment. But I don't think this is a frivolous issue. I don't think this is a fringe issue. We're talking about a fundamental right, a fundamental liberty that affects probably 10% of our population. And I'm not willing to let that right be stripped from my friends, my neighbors, my constituents without a fight.
Let me just make one thing clear, is as moderator, you both know that I am a true independent, and I am as independent as anybody gets. I mean, I live my independence in every single way. I believe in fairness. I was raised that way. I may not agree with what someone does, but I have no right to take away their freedoms because I don't agree with what they're doing. If they're not hurting me or anybody else, who gives me that right to take away their freedom?
No, nobody has that right.
And that's why I brought up that issue.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to take sides on one set population or religious population or whatever.
No.
But I'm saying that if you're going to be a state legislature and you're going to represent all the people, then people expect you to represent them all, not just a certain fashion.
No, it's not. Nobody say that.
Well,
You
I'm
go for
making
the
a
community.
statement.
That's
That's
what
why
I
I
said.
brought it up.
Yeah.
Because there are people that do that. And this is why there's become so much hatred. And I feel bad basically because our military, in over 200 years as a country, have fought for one basic thing: to provide freedom for every American citizen, no matter who they were. If you are a law-abiding citizen, you need to be treated alike. Here in New Hampshire, for example, my ID no longer exists. Why? Because my birthday has passed. I've gone back to redo my non-driver's license. They will not give it to me because I don't have a Social Security card. I went to reapply for I have one, just don't have the card. I went to reapply to the state Social Security to get another card, a replacement card. They will not give it to me because I don't have a picture ID, and my picture ID that was taken 5 years ago is not good enough. Now, what bothers me is both agencies name me by my name. They know who I am.
Yeah.
So we're talking about citizens who have not committed crimes, and this is how we're treated? This is not the America that our military men have gone to war to fight for our freedom.
Exactly. And you know what? I think, I don't think you were intending to, Glenn, but I think you kind of stumbled onto another issue that's been kind of percolating in the legislature, and that's the requirement to present an ID to vote. I mean, would you not be able to vote because you're kind of caught in this Franz Kafka scenario where you can't get an ID without a Social Security card, and you can't get a Social Security card without an ID? Well, I mean, that's a bureaucratic issue. It shouldn't affect your ability to cast a vote, which is probably the most sacred liberty we as Americans have. I mean, why we fought a revolution? No taxation without representation. That's what representation is all about. So I mean, I don't like those kinds of laws, that try and throw roadblocks, to participation in the process. Same thing with this idea that we should tell college students that, no, you cannot vote in New Hampshire.
That bothers me.
It bothers me enormously. I was a non-traditional student when I finished my bachelor's degree. I finished my bachelor's degree at the University of New Orleans when I was in my mid to late 20s. And if Louisiana had a law like that, you could have someone like myself who was working part-time, going to school more than full-time, who was married, who was, kind of comfortable in the community, whose wife was working full-time for the Catholic Church down there. You could conceivably have told me, no, you have to go and vote in New Hampshire, which the National Guard then said, no, you're supposed to be registered to vote in Louisiana if you're going to participate in our education plan. It's this craziness and these unintended circumstances, or maybe they are intended, I don't know. Why are we telling people not to participate? We already have one of the lowest participation rates, lowest voting rates of any industrialized country. So why are we telling people, no, go away, we don't want you voting? Is it because you're voting the wrong way?
I think what bothers me here is that, for example, Congressman Frank Ginta came from New Jersey, went to St. Anthony's College.
Actually, he went to Assumption and then went to Franklin Pierce Law Center.
Okay,
Got a master's there.
He went to New Hampshire colleges.
Yeah.
From New Jersey. This is where he learned his politics. Since then, he's been an alderman, he's been a mayor, and he's now a congressman. So are we saying that because he came to college here today, if they pass that law, if they already haven't done, he could not register to vote?
Governor Lynch, the same thing.
Comes from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
But he lives
Senator
in
Shaheen
Manchester
came from
and
out of state.
Another one.
Yeah, she
So what is wrong with that?
It's petty. It's petty politics. That's all it is. You know what it is? It's Speaker O'Brien trying to rig the system to benefit his own political party. Now the irony is that the Speaker's own son ran for the Maine State House of Representatives while he was a student at Colby or Bowdoin, one of the colleges there. Then, after he lost the primary, switched his registration back to Mount Vernon, New Hampshire, to vote for his father in the fall. So, if anybody's playing games with the system, it's those guys. And they're the last people that should be telling the kids at the Art Institute or at St. A's that they have no right to participate. Those people should be participating if they choose to take part in the community here.
It also takes away kids who might want to come to educate themselves in New Hampshire and say, well, I'm not going there, where are my rights?
Right. Well, we have a serious problem with brain drain in this. I'll be quick,
Go
Barry.
ahead.
Serious problem with brain drain in the state where smart, talented young people are leaving the state and not coming back. If we want to make the state a good place, if we want to attract people and have a climate that's welcoming to people who are smart and innovative, we can't be sending messages that we don't welcome outsiders, which is what these laws do. We have to make this a welcoming, open, and accepting community. And part of that is telling college kids, like, we don't mind if you're part of our community. You have something to offer, and we want you here.
Mary?
Yeah, I just want to go back to your question because it was your problem.
It was my problem?
No, the question you was asking about you went to the
driver's license.
for driving your license.
Yeah.
I think so. What we need to know too, you do here. I think so. You have a law. You do something. Sometimes you are a citizen of country. You're the one who's proud for your country. And you are proud because there is a law. How we can just follow the law. But if I saw one guy one day, he went to, I think so. He went to do for job. But she have a driver license, she have a social security. That will always be like an old social security, It's for a long time. You cannot, the term says they cannot take that one. You need to go back again into social security to do another one. He was like pissed off, himself and said, what is it? I have a social security, but they say it's not looking good. Then I'm supposed to come and say, just it's no problem. Go in the social security, do another social security, do another car. That I can.
But I did. They won't let me.
Why they don't want to let you?
Because I don't have an ID that's credited to the date of today. and they won't give me that either. So it's like a catch-22.
You can go get a non-driver license.
So I've now involved the governor
You,
because
you,
it's stupid.
you can go just go get a non-driver license to get to get another one.
Go to MTA.
Yeah.
Go to MTA for $2, they'll take your
I
place
have
no
one.
charge.
Neither,
all you need.
neither the motor vehicle department nor the Social Security office accepted my handicapped MTA card.
Mhm.
It's not acceptable for the federal or state government.
Why?
Don't ask me that. I asked them that, I had got no answer.
Okay, Glenn, after we're done tonight, let me talk to you. I know someone who might be able to
Yeah, he's an
help
attorney.
kickstart this. Well, it's not me. I know someone who might be able to help you out.
Okay, I think so. It's almost done. I supposed to go because there's somebody's waiting for me at 9 o'clock.
We have 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, but I have it.
I said, Governor,
Yeah,
take care of you
it's a
the other
fact.
day.
Yeah,
5 minutes to go. We have
Yeah.
5 minutes, so we're
I
ready.
just yeah.
So I have one more question, then if you make it short, then we'll go to the closing. This is the question.
Because there's somebody's waiting for me. At the moment.
There will be a primary for all three of you. Who changed the law? Since when do we have a primary for a candidate who has nobody else running against them in that party? When did that get changed?
Well, Glenn, you know I'm Irish, and Irish have a hard time making anything a short story, but I will try to do it.
Make it short.
Yes,
You gotta go.
yes, I will do that. The House Election Law Committee is probably the most inscrutable, hardest to fathom, strangest place on the planet Earth. I worked on some ethics reform bills and some legislation to make the lobbying process more transparent there. They don't want people to know what's going on there. That's really what happens. So a lot of what goes on in that committee doesn't get publicized. And that's where a bill like this would originate with the Election Law Committee. Why they did this, I have no idea. And to be honest, I'm not sure they have any idea why they did it. Usually everything on that committee is driven by one party trying to finesse the system a little bit. So it is what it is, and we just work with what we've got.
Mary?
Yeah, I want to say this. It was not like something like they did because they want to be like this, but I know that day it was around 4:30. There was no one who signed already for the place. It was empty. I went to the state because it was there was sending people email
Yeah.
to say this the vice president is coming at the state house. We need more people. If there is some people to go over there, to welcome him. And if you have some people, you can grab some people. I was at school that day, and when I saw that on the 11th, and I grabbed some people with me, and we went over there. But when we went over there, they asked me. The people was asking me. They said, "Are you living in Ward 3?" I said, "Yeah." But we have an empty place because they are looking for someone who can run for the state rock. Yeah, and it was a 4:30. Even they said, "Okay, you wanna take a chance to do," but like I said,